City won the treble, Kyle Walker won the treble, Bayern Munich didn't. Hello, welcome back to another video. We're talking transfers today as per usual. Don't forget, if you are a fan of this kind of stuff, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel as always. We're going to talk about Kyle Walker, we're going to talk about Gvardiol, we're going to talk about Laporte, Shay Charles, James Trafford and the rest of those names currently linked with moves away from Manchester City Football Club. Looking forward to it, Don't forget to hit the like button. It would be massively appreciated. Of course, today's news comes in many varied forms. There's a bit of news flying around at the moment. I'm going to start initially with that Kyle Walker news. Do, of course, let me know in the comments how you're feeling and if you're good and all that kind of stuff, because this is, of course, a live video. So I'll jump over to this a bit of news here, and here it goes. This is how it's basically framed. It says that Bayern Munich are very confident of signing Kyle Walker and are waiting daily for his final word in order to negotiate a fee with Man City. Walker is yet to commit to 100%, but Bayern are tempting him with a 2-year deal plus the option of a third. And this is via Bild, who of course are a German, sort of German tabloid if we're being honest, but they obviously do have some sort of connections. And they'll know a thing or two, so it's worth paying mild attention to this. Whether it's true or not, time will tell. But it is something that I think we're going to have to pay attention to. I think there is something in the Kyle Walker thing. I think he is probably considering a potential move, a potential exit. We'll have to be very calm on that. Just see how it pans out to an extent. The players are back in first team training in a week or two, and I think obviously City will want to know the future of many of their players. Bayern Munich would be a really interesting one for Kyle Walker, because you've got to remember that he was in and out of the team an awful lot last season. Now, he was, of course, called into the team a lot for that Champions League run, but then he was out with the team for the final. Came on, obviously, and had a massive role in the final as a substitute. But in general, Walker's no longer guaranteed a place in this Manchester City side, especially with the potential arrival of Gvardiol and, of course, John Stones' impeccable appearances as an inverted centre-back stroke full-back midfielder kind of combo. And Rico Lewis as well coming an awful lot. So Kyle Walker is no longer guaranteed a starting place like he used to be. The Kanji, of course, has been excellent as well. So I do think there's something in this story as a whole. Does it mean it's going to happen? Probably not. Is Kyle Walker probably waiting to see how his head's at after his holiday and all that? Maybe. Is that ideal for Manchester City? Probably not at the same time. But I would guess City are quite relaxed in this. Kyle Walker stays. Great, he's Kyle Walker. If he goes, fair enough. He's earned a right to go somewhere else. And there's an element of that rings true. Sometimes you've got to be patient and you've got to just trust the process, so to speak. And I think it's fine. I think it's absolutely fine. I think there is something in this. The Bayern Munich link to Kyle Walker is too specific and too random for it to not be true. Like, you don't really see people like Walker linked to clubs like Bayern Munich, even though he's good enough. It's just, you can tell they're obviously in for a right back, especially when they had Cancelo on loan. That didn't turn out great, so it's only probably logical that they go for the other one. We still want the best right backs in world football, the best defensive right back in world football, easily. A man capable of shutting down that side perfectly with his electric pace, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. But one day he will do. He's already 32 years old. Of course, the counter is that Man City are apparently considering a contract bid for Kyle Walker themselves of a couple of years extension. Whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. But it is possible that City are considering a life without Kyle Walker, because he's getting older. He's getting older. It really is as simple as that. Especially with Gvardiol coming in, by the way. I think Gvardiol, I know Hella said in the comments there that City pulled out. No, that's not true at all. No, they haven't pulled out at all. Gvardiol is still very much linked. And the reports going around last night about Gvardiol, of course, were very positive. Let me find him. Yeah, from Graham Bailey, it was saying, this is from Sky, saying that, Graham Bailey is from Sky, I think, isn't he? Let me double check. He is... No, sorry, 90 minutes. Says that City feel a deal for Gvardiol's close, but the overall structure payments, it still needs to be ironed out. There's expectation from all parties that a deal will be complete before City travel to Asia for pre-season. Yeah, I think it will be too. I think in general, Gvardiol is going to come to Manchester City Football Club. I'm really confident on this. Everyone's talking like it's going to happen, which I've said a few times in videos now, but it doesn't seem to be some sort of standoff morally about this transfer. It seems to be very much like the Declan Rice Arsenal one, where they'll probably agree it's going to happen, but then just negotiate the actual structure of the payment for a week or two. But eventually it will happen, because I think everyone wants it to happen. And once you win that situation, someone tends to bend for the other, and City will bend a little bit towards Leipzig, and they'll bend a bit backwards, and then everyone will be happy at that point. And so Gvardiol will come in, but then you've got a pacey left-sided centre-back, stroke kind of maybe left-sided centre-back in a free-run defence. Kyle Walker's electric pace isn't necessarily sort of needed. Gvardiol has not got the pace of Kyle Walker, of course, but he does have an awful lot of physicality and recovery pace. So, I can see it being really something that City will consider. You know, that they will. I think if Walker goes, Gvardiol coming in changes things a little bit differently. Of course, there's also rumours today about Laporte going. Your man told me, the in the know guy has already said this is probably nonsense, but apparently Laporte is on the radar of Juventus manager Massimiliano Allegri, and the belief is the City defender would cost around €30 million. Director of Football Cristiano Giuntoli also has him on a list of favourites for centre-back role. Look, €30 million is ridiculously cheap. I can't see Laporte going for €30 million. It feels like it should be double that, if I'm being honest. Like €60 million, which is about 47 million pounds. It should be something like that. We won't get that, of course. I'm not stupid. It would be we won't get that. But it should be at least 35 million, 40 million quid. Not euros, you know? Like 40 million I would probably just about accept, given the market is difficult. The problem we've got is that a lot of people around Europe are a little bit skint, so it makes it hard to get some of these players in. I do think that we've got a potential, situation where people like Cancelo, Laporte, they're going to be hard to get, off the books to an extent, but because they've got big wages and clubs are skint. But we sort of have to. I think we need that coming in anyway. Cancelo, to me, I can see going on a loan somewhere. But Laporte will probably get a permanent transfer, and Gvardiol will come in, I reckon. Kyle Walker, I think he doesn't know what he wants himself yet. But I don't think this Bayern Munich interest would have been as well documented without some kind of reassurance from Kyle Walker's end that this would be possible. So, yeah, we've got to consider that, really. Jake saying, what do you make of maybe Real letting Valverde or Camavinga go for Mbappe? Well, if Bernardo goes, Valverde or... Was it not Tchouaméni, not Camavinga? Well, any of those three, either way, would be a wonderful replacement for Bernardo Silva. Particularly Valverde, by the way. He could fit very nicely into the City sphere, so I'll take that. But either way, they're not linked, so it's not really serious news. We can't really talk about it too much because they're not really necessarily linked to Man City, so we will have to wait and see with that one. I think there will be clubs that want Cancelo, Eden, in the comments there. It's just more like no one's going to pay up. Barca is skint. They'll try and get him on loan or something like that, but no one's going to pay up, which is just going to be really stupid, backup defender. No chance, Jake. Pogba is absolutely spent, mate. He's washed these days. He's barely played for Juventus all season. He's barely played for United. Pogba's done. He's absolutely done, in my opinion. Like, he's done at the highest level. I am not willing to consider Pogba anymore. Especially when he went back to Juventus, he's just been as shite and as distant as he was at United. You saw that breaking news, of course, last night as well about Shay Charles. Where's it gone? Southampton, by the way, apparently are now back in for Carlos Borges. I think a lot of teams will be in for Carlos Borges, particularly Premier League ones and Bundesliga ones. As well, Shay Charles is going to Southampton apparently for around 15 million quid. It says initial 10.5 to 15. It says Simon Bukowski at the Manchester Evening News. MJ Critchley over at The Athletic. Where's he from? I know Mark Critchley, says we will take a sell-on clause and a buyback clause and matching bid rights in Shay Charles' transfer to Southampton. He's a really smart footballer, Shay Charles. It's an awful lot of money. People have been talking this a lot on social media and moaning about it, saying, oh, it's dodgy. Can I put it into words how stupid, how pathetic and how moronic this whole, City are cooking the books by getting people to overpay for their players argument is. It's absolutely brain dead moronic. Your brain is melting in the sun if you think that City are somehow in cahoots, I don't know, with all these clubs that City youngsters buy from. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's been loads of examples of so many teams buying young players with barely any football for way more. United signed Amad Diallo for about 40 million off the base of a few minutes for Atalanta. So, like, was everyone ignoring that? Rhian Bruce to go for 20-odd million based off barely any football whatsoever because he'd done well for England's youth teams. It's just absolute nonsense. Shay Charles has played for Manchester City in the first team. Gvardiol gave him his Premier League debut. He's captained Manchester City's youth teams as they've won title after title after title. He's played 8 times for Northern Ireland as a full international. So he's an international footballer. And of course, he's always been on the bench in the Champions League. Southampton are looking at Shay Charles and going, we're getting about £50 million for Romeo Lavia here, and we paid about 10-15 for him. Looking at Shay Charles and thinking he could be the next. That is obviously their modus operandi. And yeah, of course, Jason Wilcox is there, but he understands the talent potential. And Shay Charles is very much seen at Man City as a high-level footballer. The idea that Southampton and Burnley and all these teams like Dortmund with the Haaland thing and River Plate for fucking Alvarez or whatever, all these teams are complicit in City cooking their books. It's just stupid. Man City are one of the most hated teams in world football. Why would these teams like put themselves in the muddy mess that is Manchester City's investigations? Like, why would they put their accounts at risk when City have been investigated? It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. It's brain rot. Absolutely brain rot. But that is where we're at these days, It's absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Like, it's just that City have very good young players, and people are watching City's youngsters, like McAtee and Tommy Doyle, get Sheffield United promoted. Howard Bellis get Burnley promoted. Lavia becoming a star, Southampton, and going for £50 million for a Champions League team, probably. They're seeing all these young players do really well and thinking, who's the next one? It's going to happen because City have built this reputation for their academy. So Shay Charles, if he goes there, he'll be there on merit. And people better stop acting so surprised by this. Like, no one was surprised when United was selling their academy players, for a few million back in the 90s or 2000s. This is the equivalent with inflation. It's exactly the same, Like, United used to sell loads of academy players for loads of money. Like, Diallo's the one for United. Like, he was an awful lot of money. And he'd played, I think, He played about 4 games for Atalanta. And he paid about 40 million. It's stupid, man. It's absolutely stupid. But that is people online for you. Absolutely stupid. But anyway. Also, that was interesting. When Gvardiol going to get the freedom of the city? My wife's mum actually mentioned this last night, and it broke around today. But it was on the news last night, and all the aggregators only picked up on it today. What does that even mean, by the way? I have no idea what it means. It means he gets to I don't know, park anywhere he wants in Manchester. I have no idea. But congratulations to Pep. Also, I like this quote from Pochettino, by the way, saying, I want to congratulate Pep with what he's achieved with City is amazing. It'll be difficult, but I think we can compete with a team like that. Well, that's confident from Pochettino, but he's right. What City have achieved is amazing, and fair play to him. 99.7% pasty, by the way, City last season in the league. People act like we haven't got any fans. It's nonsense. It's silly, but that is what people are. But anyway, guys, that is what I want to talk about today. Kyle Walker. I think he'll probably stay. I think he'll probably stay. And in general, City fans, we should trust that if he goes, we will find a sort of suitable replacement for him, I reckon. Guys, thank you for watching this video. Do like the video. Let me know down in the comments what you make of this transfer room and all that kind of stuff, and what you expect to happen with Kyle Walker. And I'll catch you tomorrow for another video. In a bit, and good evening.